In this video, I'll show you how you can build an AI agent that can search the web, that can crawl different websites, and that can even take screenshots of the websites. And the cool thing is that you can just talk to it in natural language and it will respond to you in natural language as well. And the best thing is that you don't even need to know any coding to be able to build this. This agent works really great as an internal tool. You can use it for some of these use cases like lead scraping, content research, or even for internal documentation. So let me show you how it works. This is the agent that I've built. So as you can see, web research agent, and it's just a simple chat box. And here we can type in, find 3 posts on Reddit that talk about AI and cursor. Okay, and here we go. It returned 3 posts on Reddit that we can click on, and you can see it has cursor and AI in the title. And we can click on this one as well. Same, so these are Reddit posts about cursor and AI. So let's try another one. Find 3 posts on the promptwarrior.com, which is my blog, with AI and cursor in the title. And it returned these 3 posts here. So let's click on the first one. This one is about windsurf versus cursor. And the cool thing here is also it attached a screenshot. So you can click here on the screenshot and then you can basically download the screenshot and save it to wherever you want. And yeah, same for the other 2 links. So this is how it works. It's really powerful and you can basically customize it however you want. If you want to download this, I will be providing a download link inside of my community. So once you sign up, and if you go here to the classroom and then just go here to templates, and there I will be providing this whole build that we will be building out now, but you can also just download the whole thing and then build on top of it. And yeah, you'll be finding it here, Firecrawl agent, and then that's the GitHub link, and then you can basically clone the whole project. Okay, so let's start building this thing and let's have a quick look at the overview here. So what we're going to be doing is these 6 steps essentially. We're going to start with building the UI in Bolt. That's gonna take just a few seconds. Then we're going to export that code into Cursor to continue building on it. Then we're just going to, after we exported it, run it once to test it, maybe fix some small errors or bugs that came up. Then we're going to add the OpenAI API, and we will be using something called function calling. And then we're going to be adding the Firecrawl API, which is the API that allows us to do all of the web searching. And finally, we will be deploying this app, which means you can get a live link to this app and anyone can use it that has this link. For example, you can give it to people inside of your company to use it as an internal tool, or you could even give it to someone externally to use it. Okay, then let's start with step 1, which is here in Bolt. So you can see here what I've done is I just open up Bolt and a new chat instance and just type this prompt here. Build a simple Next.js web app. So make sure you say Next.js web app. We're going to be building on this framework. It should let me have a chat box where I can enter what I want and then we'll get a result back. For now, don't implement the functionality yet, just the UI. So it's very important that you say that because we don't want Bolt to overcomplicate things and run into errors. And at this point of the build, we just want to focus on getting a UI ready and not overcomplicate it. And then, but later, just to give some context also, the results returned should be information scraped from websites, so it will be hooked up to ChatGPT and Firecrawl. But again, don't implement functionality yet, just UI. So the reason I add that is just so that it has the context of what we're building and it can implement that into the UI and just build like a UI that actually matches whatever we want. So after I hit enter on this prompt, it ran through, thought for a bit, and built me this UI here, which I think is pretty good. Of course, you can optimize it if you have certain requirements or want some additional things in the UI to look different, just add some additional prompts. For me, this was good enough and I could move on to the next stage. So this literally took me less than 2 minutes. Okay, so how do we continue now? The next step is you need to go here and you just download this project. And this will download all of the files that you can see here in the code, it will download all of these files onto your local machine. And once you've done that, you will want to use an application like Cursor. You can also use, if you're familiar with other IDEs like Windsurf, or if you're familiar with VS Code, you can use those as well. I tend to use Cursor. I like it. You get a free trial. You can use it mostly for free. You have some free requests. And if you want faster requests, then you can subscribe to the monthly plan. Okay, once we're in Cursor, just locate the downloaded folder that you just downloaded from Bolt and open it up here in Cursor. So you can go here to open folder and then just locate that. You might want to place it somewhere where you can find it again later, or have it nicely organized. But yeah, open that up, and then you're going to see something like this. Okay, now the first thing you'll want to do is just to open up the terminal here. You can do that by pressing Command J on a Mac or Control J on Windows, and then just type in npm run dev, which will run this application that you have here locally. And when you then open up this URL in the browser, you should see whatever you have built out in Bolt. So we should be seeing the same UI that you were able to see in Bolt earlier. And if at this point any errors come up, or sometimes there are like small hydration errors or just like little inconsistencies, just take a screenshot of that, and then you can open up your AI chat here and just paste in whatever error you're getting and have the AI fix that. Usually it's like something very small if it happens, and it will fix it in 1 or 2 chat messages. Okay, great. So we have the initial build ready, and you've verified that everything is working. And now we can start adding the logic to this. And the reason we do it in these small steps is to just like basically make sure that everything is working and not give the AI too many instructions at once, which increases the likelihood that it will run into errors and will make it much harder for you to fix. That's why we're going step by step. So this step now is to implement the OpenAI integration. And here you can see the prompt that I type, which is, okay, let's implement an OpenAI integration with tool calling functionality. And then I pasted the API docs to OpenAI. We'll have a look at that in a bit. And then I just said, do your implementation in small steps so that we can test if each step is working. So let's have a look at the API docs. So these are the API docs of OpenAI, and this is the part that talks about function calling. You can kind of go through it and familiarize yourself with it. At a high level, what this means is that instead of just talking through the API to the AI, what you're giving the AI the capability now to do is, while you're talking to it, it can call a separate function. And this function can be another API. So basically, we want to give the AI the capability to call another tool, which will be our Firecrawl API, so that it can do stuff with it and then return it back. And we want this capability because we want to be able to talk to this agent in natural language, right? So we kind of want this LLM front end, the agent as the front end there. And then we want the Firecrawl capabilities on the back end. And what it will do when it runs through is it will install the OpenAI SDK. So you can just hit run, it will install the packages, and then it will just set up a file inside of your app folder called route. And that's basically the endpoint that allows your application to talk to the OpenAI API. Okay, and then the crucial step that you will need to do here is you will need to create an env.local file. So just right click here and you can click new file and then just type in .env.local. And when you open that, you should enter exactly this. So OpenAI key, it will give you this here as well. You can just copy it over. OpenAI API key. And then you go and find and create an OpenAI API key. So let's do that. So again, when you're here in OpenAI, you can just go to dashboard, go to your API keys here, and that's where you can create a new secret key. So you will have to buy a few credits for that. So you can just put in like $5 or something, just top up the account. And the model that we will be using is very cheap. So it will only cost a few cents as you're using it. And don't worry, I will be deleting the keys after this video. Just make sure that when you create these keys, don't share them with other people. Okay, so once that is set up, you will be having an assistant here that you can chat with. And again, if there are any errors at this point, just take a screenshot of the error or describe the error to the AI, and the AI will help you fix it inside of Cursor. But at this point of the implementation, what we have is just the ability to chat. So I recommend you typing something like, hey, who are you? Just to verify that it's actually hooked up to an AI. So if it doesn't work, it will just give you back an error message. And if it does work, it will say something like this: I'm an AI language model. You can even ask it something like, who is Albert Einstein, just to really make sure that it has the knowledge of an LLM. There we go. So it is hooked up to the OpenAI API now, and it has this intelligence, right? But importantly now, it is not yet hooked up to the web searching functionality. And this is what we will be doing next. Okay, so to enable the web searching functionality, we will be using a service called Firecrawl. So as you can see, it says turn websites into LLM ready data. And it's very powerful. Just to give you an overview of what it is capable of doing and how you can continue to customize this later. Here are the input parameters that are possible here. So as you can see here, there's a query parameter that's basically the search that you wanted to search for. So in the example earlier, it was AI and Cursor. Then you can set a limit of how many results it should return. Some other parameters like language, country, location, timeout, and then finally also scrape options, which I'll go into later. And just to have a look at some of the query operators. So these are like how you can actually make this search query even more detailed. So you can do something like put it as a string, and then it will search for exactly that term. You can exclude certain terms, certain keywords. You can search on a specific site. That's quite important, and that's also what has been implemented in this build. You can also only return results that include a certain word in the URL, and a bunch of other things. So as you can see, it's very powerful, and you can customize this depending on your use case. And now let's have a look at the output options. So it can give you Markdown as output, which is kind of the default. So it can just basically give you text and have links within the text. It can also give you HTML, and it can also kind of scrape the entire site and give you all of the links within that site. It can then also give you screenshots of the viewport, so a screenshot of what it sees right now. And then it can also give you screenshots of the entire full page, which is what you saw in the demo earlier. It was this full page screenshot of the entire blog post. Okay, now let's go back into Cursor and see how we actually implement this next step. After I've implemented the OpenAI API and fixed a few small things and just verified that's working, the next thing is ask me, would you like me to implement the function calling now? Because it kind of knows you want to call a function. And then yes, let's add it step by step. I said we will use Firecrawl. Make sure to go through the documentation. I pasted here. So I pasted the Firecrawl documentation here, and do the implementation in small steps so that we can test it. And by the way, I forgot to say this earlier, but make sure you have the agent mode activated and select a strong model. So you can select Claude Opus or Claude 4 Sonnet. Sonnet will be a little bit cheaper. Or you can even try with Gemini 2.5 Pro. That's also very powerful. And if you want to ask questions and not code, just use this ask mode. So after I hit enter here, it starts setting up the Firecrawl integration. Then it says perfect function calling with Firecrawl is now implemented, what we've built. Step 1, function schema. Step 2, OpenAI integration, function call handling, Firecrawl API integration, front-end enhancement. Okay. And again, it says you'll need to add the Firecrawl API key into your env local file. So as you can see, you need to add this text here, and then you need to go and find your Firecrawl API key. So let me show you where. So if you go here into Firecrawl and log in, you can just go here to API keys, And that's where you can create a new API key and then just copy it over and paste it right here. And once you've done that, you can go ahead and test it, and it should have all of the functionalities that I showed you earlier. It will be making all of the changes inside of this file here in the route.ts file. If it encounters any errors, just make sure to guide it and tell it that the AI should basically just act as the middle layer, and it should just create the query parameters for the Firecrawl API, just to like make it very clear what the job of the AI is. And yeah, once you have that, you will be having this functionality of it being able to search on the web for certain links and return these links back to you. And if you then want to add the screenshot functionality, you can also just tell the AI, hey, I want to add the screenshot full page functionality and also return that in the results. And as you can see here in this implementation that you can also download, the screenshots are included. Now, the final step is how do we actually get this deployed under a live link? So as you can see, this is a link that anyone can access. How do we deploy this? For that, the first thing I want you to do is go back here into Cursor, into your terminal, and then just type npm run build. And what this does is it basically tests whether the deployment is possible. And so you can catch any of the errors that could happen later. You can catch it right here. And if there are any errors, again, just paste the error into the AI and tell it to fix it. If this runs through successfully, that's where you can actually go and do your deployment. And then the next thing you want to do is make sure that you commit this and upload it to GitHub. So you should, during the whole build, ideally don't build the whole thing in one and don't commit in between. It's better practice to basically build out like an initial functionality and then do a commit. So basically commit is saving your project. So have like several saves in between so that if something goes wrong, you can always revert back easily. But yeah, once you're done with the whole thing, you can upload the whole thing onto your GitHub. So if you don't have a GitHub account, just create a new account. It's free, and just upload it as a private or public repository, however you want. And then you can go into this platform called Vercel and sign up. And then you can go here to add new project. And here you can then basically sign into your GitHub. So these two will be synced. And then just find the project that you just uploaded to GitHub. So in my case, it's Firecrawl Agent. You can press import. And now, very important is you will have to enter your environment variables. And these are basically your API keys. So for every key you want to create, you want to put here, you want to put OpenAI API key here, and then copy over your key and put that here, and do the same thing for the Firecrawl key. And this is because the local file here is actually not uploaded to GitHub. So you will need to put it here so that the application works. And once you've done that, you can hit deploy, and that will then work and put your application on a live URL. And yeah, once that's done, you will see something like this, and then you can see your URL will be right here. You can click on it, and that's when you can then share this with other people, and other people can use this as well. One note is that if you build it like this, it's definitely better if you just use it for internal purposes, because obviously people that use it will be using your API keys. So only share it with people that you trust and like people that you allow using your API keys, because this will be deducted from your account, your Firecrawl and OpenAI accounts. If you actually wanted to publish this publicly, then you should also implement some kind of user authentication or have people bring their own keys and enter them, for example. And this you can also just build inside of Cursor. So yeah, that's it. I think this is a really powerful tool. And the cool thing is that once you actually downloaded this or built this yourself, there are so many different possibilities of what else you can build on top of this, depending on what you need, because now you have literally an agent that can access the web and that can search sites, that can take screenshots. So there are so many things that you can do with it. If you like this, consider joining my community. I will be doing a bunch more of these tutorials. We also have inside of the classroom a bunch of different templates, courses here, how you can build these kind of agents and other custom software. If you like this video, it would really help me out if you like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.